Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo, and this is the LockerGnome Daily Report, or TLDR for short. I'd like to say TGIF, because that's how I feel. Thank God it's Friday, and that means it's an Ask Me Anything edition of this particular live broadcast on YouTube. I have to thank the patrons who've come out and support as they said they would. Some people wanted me to bring TLDR back, and I did, thanks in large part to the patrons, although this number isn't quite accurate. Patreon apparently doesn't have the correct number being published on the profile. Some patronages were declined for one reason or another, likely just oversights on the user's part. I've tried to communicate back with them. Unfortunately, Patreon's responding, but some of the patrons aren't responding. So this number is actually below 500, and our financial goal is $1,000 shy of where it should be. It just makes it difficult for planning, and that's really what is of a bigger concern to me. I'm very happy that we do have a certain number of people who have supported the things that I would like to do, and if it sounds like I am a little subdued today, it's because I was awake in the middle of the night, and it was not a rough night for me, but I'm not really in a good mood. That's really the easiest way to put it. This is the first time I think today that I've smiled, apart from when Diana made me breakfast. That was really nice of her. She's been very supportive today. I've just been going through a lot of things that I can't seem to get help for. And I've tried over and over and over again to solve certain problems, but I can't get past the problems, and they're starting to vex me. And I've recognized today that I need to change something else. And it's just that what used to work no longer works, and it's really, I guess, depressing for me to know that I'm going to have to shut down a few things that used to work and no longer work, and things that at one point I think people wanted, but they just didn't want. And that's really difficult to know which direction I need to be going in, which is, I realize, completely unwieldy and way over many people's heads, and they don't want me to be depressed and they want me to be happy, but I'm not in a very good mood today. If anything, I just want to say that the people who have put me in a good mood are the patrons who have come out and believe not just in the things that I do, but the things that I want to do, and really believe in me. And you do matter, and you are helping, and that means a lot to me today. I am going to go ahead and answer your questions so that you're not wrapped up in the problems that I have that you probably don't care about, because everybody has their own problems. Anthony Dibble, a patron, asks, in your home office tour video, you briefly show the Bluray Drive you've connected to your Mac Pro. I just bought my own MacBook Pro and was wondering, what reader writer do you use and what software do you use on your Mac to play Blu-rays? I don't really use the drive that I have connected. It's an LG drive, an external, I think it's a multi-format supported. Yes, not just with disk, but I connect by way of like a FireWire 800, which is mildly outdated at this point. I have not really played a Blu-ray movie on that drive. I think I can through software that kind of circumvents certain things in relation to Blu-ray on OS X. But it is an LG external drive. It has served me well, and even though I do have a disc, an actual CD, like a disc drive, connected or internal to my Mac Pro, this is the one I primarily use. I just toggle the switch on the back, eject, put in the disc, but it's so rare that I do that. By the way, let me just kick in the screensaver. It's just a bit more exciting than a drab screen. Oh yeah, your name could be there. Yay. Chris Eldridge. I feel so bad. I feel like I'm cheating so many people right now, because I'm just not in a good mood, and I don't want to seem flippant in my responses, and it's nothing. There's nothing. I just feel weird, and I'm obligated to do this, and I'm happy to do this, and I'm happy to be able to do this. It's just that I've got a lot of things that have happened that I could talk about, at length I could talk about, and I probably have at points in the past. But I know that's not doesn't make for very interesting YouTube videos that people want to watch, unless of course you want to tune into a train wreck. That's what I feel like today. Chris Eldridge, another patron, thank you. What kind of quick advice would you have for blogging? So, I've joked about this, but when I started LockerGnome back in '96, it was a different era. I didn't have software that could make things easier. Now that software exists. It's no longer just having a blog. It's what you do with it. And I've this is part of my frustration and struggle. I know what I think I need to do, and I know what I think I want to do with the blog, but even if I come up with an answer, that may not be the right answer. I put my perspectives out there and my thoughts out there, but what's the difference between posting it to your blog versus Facebook versus Twitter versus YouTube? I don't have the answer. I don't have the answer. Hell, I don't even have the design. Someone even asked me today, like, what do you recommend for web hosting? I don't know. They all suck. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. I've yet to be proven otherwise. But then again, I'm not a web engineer. I'm just someone who has an idea and sometimes need help with executing, and that's usually where things fall apart. So, quick advice for blogging. Be true to yourself. Be true to your community. But even if you post a blog, post on a blog, doesn't mean that anybody's going to read it. Even if it's the best thing you've ever written, there are a zillion, and maybe that's a slight exaggeration, at least a trillion, I'm sure, blogs out there. There's a lot of people who are clamoring for everybody else's attention. So you always have to answer the question, what are you going to do differently? Well, my value add is that I'm me. There's only one Chris Pirillo. That's valuable, right? But some days I don't feel like Chris Pirillo. Today's one of those days. Quick advice for blogging. Figure out why you want to do it. Could be for catharsis, at which point, you could do it ad nauseum, forever, infinitely. If you want to do it to try to make money, it's like doing a YouTube channel to try to make money. If that's your focus, you're not going to do very well. It sometimes is, all about the content. The challenge with blogging these days is that it's kind of been overrun by a lot of people who are way better staffed, way better sourced, way better at it than you. And that's something that you got to consider. Why are you doing it? What's going to make it unique? And if it's you and it's from the heart, then I guess that's really what's going to set you apart. And I think you need to keep that in mind when it comes to blogging or just sharing your thoughts directly. I feel like I'm being too blunt today, but I think it's good advice. I may not be in a great mood, but I think it's good advice. At least I can laugh. Oscar Roque. I love this guy. Another patron, been a great supporter. He actually tweeted something today. It was pretty funny. We were talking about a Shredder, and he posted a picture, an image of Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as a Shredder. I'm like, wow, that would be a genius product. He says, about Facebook, I've noticed for a while now that instead of sharing a link directly on your status update, you're adding it as a comment to a more headline-style status update. Is that simply a style change, or are you attempting to be mysterious, or does doing it this way better your reach on Facebook post views? The strategy, changes on a daily basis because Facebook changes its algorithm. It's hard. It's really hard to accommodate Facebook, and I'm not someone who looks for a free ride. I'm not. I understand, and I even outlined this before the studies came out. There are now studies that say, well, Facebook is difficult to reach all the people you want to reach because there are more people on Facebook using it, and so what's going to make your post rise above every other post? It's just like blogging. What's that going to be? Someone's always going to do it better. Someone's always going to have something else that's going to draw someone else's attention away. So, Facebook changes its algorithm, and it's difficult because I know a lot of people use Facebook and turn to it as a resource. But even if I post something good there's no guarantee they're going to see it. That's what's so frustrating. I mean, even in doing a YouTube video, just because I put it out there and I got subscribers doesn't mean they're actually going to see it. What's that one thing that's going to set it apart? Some people say, well, you need to make your videos shorter. And other people say you need to make your videos longer. I'm like, I don't know. Some days I don't know what to do. So we found, like right now with Facebook, in sharing a link, unless other people share that link, the link that you share is probably not going to get seen, which sucks. We post new things right now on LockerGnome.com every day. This is another part of my depression, really. No one's looking, no one's watching, no one cares. So at which point I wonder, why am I doing it? If no one cares, why am I doing it? I think enough people care, but I'm missing the mark somehow. Look, I can't do something my heart's not in it, right? I'm doing this because today, this live stream, because I owe it to the patrons. I really do. I do, absolutely.
Well, you feel that way about the vlog too.
I feel that about what I feel. What way about the vlog?
Like our engagement's going down. So.
Oh yeah, YouTube I think is just, it's difficult to connect with people who say they want to connect with you. Yeah, I don't know. I may quit the vlog. I don't know. I'm running into walls and solving other people's problems, and unfortunately, I'm completely unable to solve my own problems. And that's why I'm frustrated. Because I can solve other people's problems, but I can't solve my own. So yeah, with the posting a status update, there's a greater chance of that being seen right now with Facebook over a link. Facebook says that's going to change at some point. I don't know if we're going to stop publishing on Facebook. Some people have altogether. I don't think that's the answer. But I think Facebook's importance in terms of getting things out there is rapidly diminishing in my estimation. Christopher McAuliffe asks, what do you think about Microsoft making Office 365 and in-app purchase on the iPad? Well, I referred to this the other day. Do you think the readiness of the subscription purchase being available in the app is worth their 30% loss? Yeah, I did mention this the other day. 70% of something is better than 100% of nothing. So I think Microsoft's made the right move, absolutely. 12 million downloads, not bad. I don't know if every one of them picked up an Office 365 subscription through it, but I think it was pretty smart. What if when after signing into the app there's a message that told the user they needed an Office 365 subscription to use all the features? Well, I think that's what it does. I don't know. I signed up for an Office 365 subscription before even downloading the iPad Office app, so I'm not exactly sure. I find it amazing Microsoft thinks that people won't be able to find out how to get or not be willing to get an Office 365 subscription unless it's an in-app purchase option. Well, I don't know if that's what Microsoft thinks. They're making it as easy as they possibly can, and working with Apple, I think, was a very smart move. And Apple's happy. I guarantee Microsoft's happy. Like I said, you gotta think in numbers. 70% of 50% of something is often better than 100% of nothing. I'm not a math whiz, but I do know that. Christopher Wall asks, how far do you see the future of software developers evolving as wearable technology emerges? I.e., will there be extensions that sync to our natural mannerisms, sleeping patterns, diet plans, etc.? Well, as long as we have technology, hardware, we're going to have the need for software and development. So, I don't see that changing anytime soon, unless robots begin to program themselves. I think there's a certain creative element that comes from a software developer. I don't know. I'm not a developer. I can't make things. But I see a lot of hope and promise for developers. And I've spoken to this before, whether it's in wearable technology or anything. To have the tools at their disposal, it's getting easier to create the world around you, so long as you have that ability to not just see something, but be able to make it happen. That's why, to me, rock stars in my world aren't the people who play music. I mean, yes, they are rock stars, but the engineer, the software developer, because they can make things happen that I can't make happen, and it amazes me sometimes, especially if they make it work really well. So, yeah, I mean, I expect technology to continue to transform our lives and developers to help make that happen. Nathan Michael Alvarez asks, what is the most difficult part about being an entrepreneur, more specifically an online media entrepreneur? Well, this is fitting. He really asked that question. Serendipity. Some days are easier than others. There's a perception that just because you see something from the outside doesn't mean it's that way on the inside. And there's a perception that, they got a lot of subscribers, therefore they're doing well. It's not a very stable business. I've been tripped up and have found it difficult to scale. That's probably one of my bigger frustrations. It's been difficult, if not impossible, to scale, and it's not that I haven't tried. I've got a very dinky team around me. I've got an editor who helps get things written, make sure things go out. I've got another facilitator who kind of helps with some of the minutia so that I can do more of what I do best instead of having to get caught up in things that just wear me down. But that said, it's easy for anybody to do, but because it's easy for anybody to do, it's more difficult to stand out and evolve as the industry evolves. We're noticing a marked shift in how people consume content and where they consume content and the value of that content. Instead of going to a blog, they go to a news aggregator or go to their social news feed. So if they expect they're going to see everything from me just because they follow me on Facebook, that may not happen. Another reason to have an email newsletter, which we do have. But even then, even having an email newsletter, there's no guarantee that someone, even if they love what you do, is going to open it and read it. Even if they open it, what's delivered may not be something that's interesting to them at this point because there's a lot to pay attention to. And I think that's the biggest frustration with being in a position that I've been in. And I've, tried to adjust for that in the past. I'm, giving people a better chance of connecting with each other and building community around that. But even in doing that, this is what really hit me, I think, on like a sucker punch today. For years, we had forums, and they're basically dead. So we're going to be shutting down a set of forums that I can almost guarantee everybody watching this video has no idea even existed, because they were languishing even for the past year or so. Then I set up a social network on a platform, and that apparently just it didn't fail. I mean, there's like 30,000 users on the platform, but it no longer served a purpose, and now I can't even. I'm paying more for hosting than I'm able to generate from revenue from the site itself, times 4. So help.lockergnome.com is going away. Geeks.lockergnome.com is going away. And I've yet to find anybody or any entity with any experience to help me do something with LockerGnome.net, because it's expensive to take data and do something with it, or even with hosting. Like the only option for hosting is more than the site is generating, and that's it's difficult to know not just what to do, but how to get it done. It's not the idea, it's the execution. So I'm just, it's what used to work no longer works. And the difficult part about being an entrepreneur is having a vision and not being able to see it through. I can't tell you. I mean, I've got a laundry list of the things that I know I don't do well, and I've tried to compensate for. Growing a team and putting not just people around me. There's a lot more wrong people for the right positions, and I've found a lot of them. So it's not that someone has a willingness to do something; it's what they can do, and with matching that with what needs to be done. Because all I have is time. Time is the one thing nobody can get back. Like I said, reevaluating costs is tricky because there are risks in doing anything, in making any kind of change. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Some people said they could do things and didn't, or don't, and it costs you time, and sometimes it costs you other resources. So YouTube made it easier for me to do a video like this, because I don't have to worry about cost or infrastructure, right? I can put the video out there, but it's a question of time, right? Not just the time that I'm spending doing this, creating something that someone's going to want to sit 23 minutes into. And I just feel so unmotivated. Like all I'm doing, I feel like I'm just kvetching. Like I'm just, because I feel like that today. I feel completely unmotivated. Because I see what other people can do and what they're doing. I don't have their stresses. Everyone's got a different set of stresses and stressors. Some people get lucky, and some people have a skill set that they need and have to be able to grow what they have. Sometimes you just got to be creative and work around your problems. Or work through them. It's like, I remember hearing a story. It's like Billy Joel, he played a song, but he knew there were dead keys on the piano, so he played the song, but he played around the dead keys, and it's kind of like that. It's what it's been like. There are companies who get funded and are able to take what they have and make it bigger and better, because they start with the right formula. They have the right people around them, people with the right experience, or they get bankrolled, right? I've never had to worry about that as a stress. I've never had to worry with other people's money in the sense of investors, right? I'm very glad I don't have that as a stress. I have other stresses. And so I'm grateful for the things that I do have, the keys that aren't dead. But the most difficult part about being an entrepreneur, I think, is because it's on you. It's on me. This is on me. I've got no one to turn to. I've got a great community of supporters, and I'm grateful for that. But in terms of like business, like people with practical, not just experience, but the ability to execute on something, I got no one to turn to. I don't have an executive team. I don't have a board of advisors. I don't have anything but my own experience, really. And, you know, budget, very tiny budget that seems to shrink by the day, which limits your options, forces you to get creative, clear things off your plate before taking more on that could end up wasting time, and time's the one thing you can't get back. One of the bigger stressors you have in being an entrepreneur is figuring out how to get things done. Not just getting them done, but just how to get them done. It's never the idea, it's the execution. And yeah, it's very fitting that you would ask that question today. I'd probably say the same thing even if I was in a better mood. And there have been, don't get me wrong, there have been some really good things that have happened in the past 2 days. Really fantastic things, I would say. But they don't deepen my stress, but they're a part of it. Good things. How do I explain it? Like, I can't count on certain things to be there all the time. And it's good when they happen, but when it's irregular, it makes it difficult to plan and plan around. That's the part of the stressors of Chris Pirillo's world that now I'm fairly confident. I should actually sorry, I should check the feed to make sure everyone's paying attention here.
Everyone's gone.
Everyone's gone. Yes, it's just me. Echo. That's great. Insult to injury. No, there are people who've tuned in. Thank you for watching. And yes, people are saying that they have ups and downs. So I did promise before I wrap this up. I'm surprised no one made a comment of this looking very peculiar, because it does. It looks like this big bullet from a local guy. This is called the Stabil Cam, Stabyl Cam, and this is. He said he wants me to show it off, and so I will. This is not a final production model, but what this Stabil Cam is, that's Staybl Cam. What it does is takes your. Well, let's just do this here. Okay, let me grab a phone I can use. You could like put your smartphone in it. Oh, it shouldn't slide. Oh, there we go. I needed to put in the tighter one. Okay, so this is a stable cam thing. So if you want smooth video, instead of holding onto your phone like this and introducing shake directly on the phone, you can effectively hold onto it here and get nice, smooth, steady shots moving around, panning around. So if you use your smartphone to capture video on a regular basis, like B-roll, it's very. I mean, I can tell you, it is a very smooth stabilizer, and no matter how I wiggle the video, if I was recording video with this phone, it would come out nice and smooth. And if you want, you could also use it like I would for. Oh, I guess Diana has the vlog camera because I've been a negative Nancy today, and I said I shouldn't be vlogging. So she's been vlogging. It extends and retracts, but I think as a functional, whether this is a final version or not, there's the mount if you have a camera. So it'll work with any camera, but it looks to be about the best one that I've used. I haven't had a chance to really run it through its paces. But it looks to be very, very fantastic for people who use phones to record video. The sample footage that I've seen looks amazing as well. But I've never seen a unit that works quite like this and is super, super, I would consider this very compact. Very compact and very workable. So if you do any video, you probably need some kind of stabilizer instead of holding onto the camera directly, because your video viewers will thank you. I'm lucky to have a tripod right now, so I don't need this for the video that I'm doing right now. This is what I was showing yesterday. I was brandishing this, waving it around, knocking things over. No, I wasn't doing that. I did get my Amazon Fire TV. And the game controller. Bought them separately. I am not sure I'm in the mood to unbox these today, but I did get them. The unboxing may happen over the weekend or at some point next week, and it'll probably happen live because it's easier. I don't have to edit video, which is, I hate editing video, and yet I do it every day with the blog. I hate editing video. Just hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, and yet I have to do it. So I think I covered about everything I needed to cover, except for I got 2 more questions that came in from patrons that I want to address real quickly. Robert Lamastus asked if I considered myself a journalist. I do not, and I never will. Not a journalist. Just not. I don't think that way. I don't pretend to be that. Never promised to be that. Some people have accused me of being a journalist. I'm like, no, I never promised I would be impartial. Never promised that. And journalists should be. And in my mind, that's really what makes a good journalist. I mean, they research, they report, they let the reader or viewer interpret the facts instead of interpreting the facts themselves. I'm not a journalist. I'm not one, never will be one, don't want to be one at all. Do you get your news from non-traditional, non-corporate sources? I get it from everywhere, honestly. I don't care how I get it, as long as I get it. It's like everybody out there. So I'm grateful you turn to me usually for my take on the headlines out there. That's the one value that I guess I have. And then the last question, Heath Hunter, another patron. Chris, do you think it's a good idea that Microsoft are paying XP users $50 to stop using Windows XP? Or do you think it's a better idea to price drop Windows 8 by $50, then everyone would benefit from changing to Windows 8? I think both of those are good ideas. But honestly, I don't think that, the only thing that would get people to move from XP is if Microsoft or an OEM gave the hardware away for free with the software. Wouldn't make a lot of money with it necessarily, but it'd be one hell of a PR move. A $50 incentive is nice, but it wouldn't get me to move at all. I think Microsoft's got some rather large problems, but the challenge that Microsoft has in terms of growth is that there are other options available. They got a lot of money to burn through, but they've got a fantastic foundation, fantastic set of software, some great minds still at Microsoft, and I have high hopes for them. And I guess this is a perfect time to show you. I got accused one year that this was not true. I will wrap it up with this. I am, again, for the nth year in a row, some people are never going to believe this, a Microsoft MVP, Most Valuable Professional, Windows Expert Consumer. I got a title. It's my badge of honor. I'm an MVP for Microsoft Windows. And you know what? I think that should say it all, given as much feedback as I've given Microsoft over the years for Windows. That's not enough to solve all my problems, but you know what? I'm very grateful to be recognized for the feedback and service that I try to provide everybody out there. So, let's see here. I think I've depressed everybody enough today. Thank you for remembering to like, comment, share, subscribe. Watch more of our much more energetic videos. Thank you if you are someone who does support us on a regular basis and are someone that I can count on. I do appreciate that. I need 1,000 more of you, and I'll be good to go. So at this point, I will leave you to your own devices. We'll you later.